So we've got Kaylin coming over from Bairnsdale today, who's my fabricator, who's going to be doing the metal frame. So we're doing a final measure today, this afternoon. It is my 40th birthday, so anyway, turned 40 today. Starting to feel a bit old. Go over all the measurements and everything like that so we can get all the steel all sorted and make sure you can get all the orders all precise as. So when we'll get all the heights on the bolt heights, the column heights and everything like that, and make sure that when we suit it to the plan, that when we turn up, it'll literally just sit straight on top of raw concrete without worrying about too much packing and everything like that, and we'll get perfect heights throughout the entire frame. So once that metal frame goes on, roof will go on, then we can start going ahead with all your timber walls that will go around all of those metal structures. So we'll go from there, but starting to feel pretty good about the build. So that's a couple of months away. So before the install happens, we'll see how we go from there. And now while we're waiting for steel, it's time to get a start on this retaining wall. So down here, as you can see, I've got to do retaining walls to stop anything falling against that window and to be able to create ramps and garden beds in here at a later date. So you can see down here, we've got approximately, I don't know, let's just say about 600 to 800 mil of fall from this level here down. So we'll be doing a ramp that goes all the way up the outside of the wall, that goes all the way to the front. So we want to be able to have at least a metre wide ramp there. As long as this drop is not over 1 metre, which this will get filled up to this height here. So as long as this fall from here to here, which is only going to be 500 mil, is not more than 1 metre high, regulations state that you don't actually need to have a handrail. So I don't want to have a handrail along here, because when we look out of this window, we want to be able to see either a finished wall or some description of garden bed, which is, we'll put planter boxes in on that wall and make it a green wall when you look out of that bedroom and downstairs basement. So what I'm going to do is, rather than have it build into compromised soil, you can see here, that's where my cut is, which is all backfilled. This section here is what I call compromised soil. So that area under there is quite solid, but I want to build my retaining wall here. So if I was to drill down here, I would need to go down quite deep to be able to get down into natural soil, so that it's all into an area that is going to be stable for that retaining wall. So instead of doing it a standard retaining wall system, what I'm going to do is actually build a concrete footing that goes in, that comes down, branches into, and actually fixes into my dinsel wall, and then it'll come back and around and then branch back in, have a couple of more support beams, which will have drainage underneath them through all that original rock system. So the drainage is not going to be a problem, and I'll put an extra drain, like a channel grate across the front here to go into there as an extra precaution only. But that's only for the really massive downpours. But at least then I've got to have a retaining wall down in here, which I'll be able to backfill and grade away as we need to. And then that way we can have that concrete, and then it's got no compromised way of falling or moving, because it's all going to be sitting on top, and there's going to be basically a footing, a concrete footing with Rio in it, supporting the entire wall that'll also get built up. So 300 mil wide footing, branches back to the dinsel, and then whatever height I require for the actual retaining wall, built out of concrete. And then you'll have no problem with it falling or sinking. So fingers crossed that all works out well, and we'll see how we go. Start digging it out. So we'll start by marking out off the dinsel wall and the fence adjacent, so that it all is parallel to each other, making sure that the bottom of this trench that I dug is all perfectly parallel and into natural soil. And then we start by doing pickets and along that line and measuring off as we go. So we're doing the back bracing all the same length in the braces. We start boxing it all out, so we can finish by lining the inside of the boxing with the corrugated iron, so we get that desired finish we're looking for. Well, it's Wednesday, it's pour day. Rain is not supposed to be here. It is drizzling, making everything wet again, which means the driveway where I've got to get the Agi concrete truck up is also wet and still a little bit sludgy. But yeah, no prediction for rain, but it's coming from the east, and they never get it right coming from that direction down here in Gippsland. So Boxing's all done, finished off yesterday. So you can see how wet it all is. I've started doing this section here where I've tied some bars into the slab to do this top landing, but we've decided I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to wait until it all dries out. As you can see, it's all quite wet and it's really sludgy. So if I tried to pour concrete into that, it will just end up really yuck. So I've decided not to do that. We're just concreting this section down here today. So I've boxed it all out, supported it all against the dinsel, and then supported it all back. So this is all tied in together. So I'll have pressure on both sides when we go concrete it. We have the 12mm bar tied into the dinsel wall to stop not only it dropping, but to also tie it all together so nothing will sink, it'll all tie in together. Got some bar, still need to finish off a couple of bits of bar yet, but got trench mesh down the bottom. And we've got the corrugated iron on the inside. So when we strip it all back, all you'll see on the inside, looking from the basement, and the inside of that wall will be literally all that corrugated iron look, which will just be raw concrete, because all the old iron will all get stripped back with all the boxing, and then all you'll be left with is just raw concrete in the shape of that. Should look really nice. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that comes up. Do a bit of tidying up because I've just thrown all this down here. Got a few more bits of mesh to go in, but you can see how I've created a couple of branches that go underneath that there, and then that ties into the dinsel wall in more than 3 places. So you can see here I'll have drainage underneath as well for an extra protection underneath that window. We'll have an extra drainage channel, but underneath even this concrete pier here, this concrete beam, there's actually rock underneath there as well. So all of that's still got drainage underneath it, which is right on top of that layer. So it should come up really cool. Now it's just a matter of what happens with this showers, and hopefully the AG can get up onto that top slab, but yeah, fingers crossed. We'll see how we go. Bit hectic. Should be able to get the wheelbarrow down here, so see how we go. Let's go. See if we can get up here. No problem. So we've waited for a little while. As you can see, it's cleared up a fair bit, which is nice. And then we've gone over and we've done like a bit of just a stipple finish to the top. Basically is just running a special trowel over the top of it to give it a bit of a rough finish, because I'm going to probably be laying tiles over the top of it. Down here, I've just left it all rough at the end because we've got Rio coming through, which we'll join onto later, because we'll probably be building ramps up around here, and my wife and I haven't decided how we're going to design this ramp system that goes from our basement up around the wall system here. So you can see that we'll be able to easily just branch into that later and sort the next stages out when we do the top footpath up the top. So I've done little channel grates in the back as well, so that when water comes down the wall, it also pulls away from it. So there's those little channels, and we don't have to have it stripped today. We might leave it for the night, and then I'll give it a strip tomorrow and have it all cleared out so that we don't, because if we've got a couple of screws and other bits and pieces coming through the colour bond. So what happens is if we pull it off too early, if we like that, we'll pull those edges off and they'll break really easy in and out of this rib. So we're going to leave that until tomorrow, and then we'll figure out from there what else needs to be adjusted, but it should all be pretty good. Pretty happy with it. Not a lot moved. It might go in and out a little bit, but shouldn't be too bad. Well, it's early the next day, kind of early, but let's see how we go. Let's start stripping that boxing and let's get it sorted. Concrete will be definitely off and strong enough. Now it's time to start stripping her down, see what she comes up like. I was really hoping for a sunrise this morning, and I didn't know it was going to be this foggy, so decided to fly my drone up, get a bit of a look at the sun. It's nice above the clouds. So even though it's been probably about 20 hours since we poured, we just still have to be a little bit careful with all the edges. It is still fairly green concrete, so you can chip it really easy. So this is the end result, exactly what I was hoping for. Rustic top edge, finished with a little bit of bubbles in the edge, front edge there, as you can see. Nice corrugated finish, so it's got a nice rustic finish to it. And you'll be able to picture in front of this retaining wall some decorative rock in the bottom, and then maybe a couple of ferns in the green garden. Should bring in some nice warm rustic colours into the basement from this window. Hope everyone enjoyed that episode and you got to learn something or potentially get some ideas for some of your own retaining walls through the process. If you got any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm pretty stoked with how that all come up. I can't wait to see some LED lighting on that retaining wall when we finally get to the final stages of the build later on down the track. But looking forward to hear from you all, and I'll look forward to releasing the next video. Thanks guys, I'll talk to you all soon.